Hey everyone, welcome back to Quality Matters. I'm your hostess, Darcy Chambers.
And I'm Kyle.
He was setting our timer.
Yes, so we don't go over it.
Yeah, we have to keep track of this. We're continuing our mini-series on Start With Why.
Yep.
It's not really in the quality world, but it is a quality.
Yes.
Knowing your why really affects your quality, yes. I think. So this episode is called A Study on Starbucks.
Woohoo! I got my coffee.
I think everybody, not everybody, a lot of people like Starbucks. Obviously,
yes.
They're a very well-to-do company. I say
everybody
not everybody
likes
because
it. That makes you nobody.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why I corrected myself, because I am not a coffee drinker, therefore I don't care for Starbucks. And I actually don't care for Starbucks also because it's very loud.
Yes.
They
it
have
didn't
like
used
these
to be, though.
metal chairs that scrape. They've got loud music playing. People talking is echoey. It does not feel very homey.
It used to be my ideal go-to study spot in college, but
that's what it's supposed to be.
It's not
that's what
anymore.
We're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So Starbucks was started in 1972 by three guys. In 1982, Howard Schultz took over and created a bigger vision.
Okay.
He really liked the espresso bars of Italy and wanted to bring some of that to
Right.
America. He wanted to create your third space, somewhere between work and home. So somewhere that's cozy,
Right.
but that you can work.
Right.
So people started buying into what Starbucks stood for. You know, you can have a great cup of coffee, you can have a Danish, you can stay and hang out.
Right.
You know, those kind of things. They served their coffee in ceramic mugs, and their Danishes were on ceramic plates. So it made it feel homey because you're eating on real dishes.
Now, not no more. They won't even give you the little cardboard thing to keep you from burning your hands unless you ask for it.
Well, that's really crappy.
Yeah, it is.
So that was this was still why Schultz was in charge. That became too expensive to maintain, and they did away with it, going for the paper cups. And Simon Sinek in the book said something like, "Oh, nothing says be cozy like here's a disposable cup. Now get out." Like, you know, could you imagine going to somebody's house and they're like, "Here's a cup of coffee and a disposable cup." Like, if you want to get one to go, yeah, I might give you one. But
look, if we had a friend that was just handing out cups of coffee, I might stop by for that. But
okay, but that's not what they were built on.
No.
So Starbucks saved money. But now they've eroded the trust because this isn't what we've gotten used to. This isn't what we know. It's, wasn't what they were built on. So Schultz was still there. He was the physical embodiment of the why.
Right.
Even though they did away with all that stuff, he was still able to lead his employees in the why they existed, the third space.
Yep.
He left in 2000 and things started to get worse. In 8 years, the company grew from 1,000 to 13,000 stores.
Woo!
They became overextended, and they were facing competition through like McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts and these places that started, selling coffees that taste good. They're serving it to go. Now I can drive through and get it much faster than a Starbucks and cheaper than a Starbucks.
I'll tell you, I like McDonald's coffee better than I like Starbucks coffee. Now I like nothing else from McDonald's, but I like their coffee.
So, hey, maybe y'all can give us your opinion. What's your favorite coffee place?
Bring me a cup.
Bring him a cup and sit down on our podcast. Bring me a Dr. Pepper and tell me I'm pretty. As my last Funny Friday said on LinkedIn. So they weren't overextended because of their growth. They were overextended because they forgot their why.
Yeah, because they're not they weren't in the business, and the only reason I ever liked them to begin with wasn't because they had the best coffee in the world. I mean, it's not. I didn't go there just because I wanted coffee. Like, it was where I went when I just wanted to sit and relax. Yeah, I could just sit there, drink a cup of coffee, flip through my textbook, talk to friends. Like, that's what it was.
Well, and you think about like the show Friends, the TV show Friends. They always went to, what was it, Central Perk?
Yeah.
It had a couch in it, and I just didn't visit Starbucks enough to know, but I feel like they used to have more
It used to be
cozy seating. And that was upholstered even, and now it's not.
No,
I mean we've
not.
had meetings at Starbucks, and it's just
not
that.
I remember when I was going to school at Lamar University there in Beaumont, and you wouldn't think about Lamar University having anything terribly nice, but they had they called it Mirabeau's, and it was their little coffee shop inside the university. Oh my gosh, I love going there. They had like big old nice cushy couches you could sit on, and you know, tables laid out, and like, I mean, it was nice. And the tables were big enough you could actually put a textbook.
Yeah.
Not like these little tiny circular.
Well, I mean, recently you were out of town, and I just get tired of being at home waiting on the kids to come home. So I was like, I started reading more this year. That's one of my goals, is to read a lot more. And I asked, you know, I polled Facebook, where can I go to just read? And, you know, of course, there was a lot of outside suggestions, but it was a rainy day. And finally, I just was like, I'm just going to go to Barnes & Noble, because I remembered that they had couches and chairs that you could sit on that are comfy. And I wish, like, I don't even drink coffee, but if Starbucks had something like that, I would go get a hot chocolate and sit and read all day.
Isn't the Starbucks inside Barnes & Noble?
There is.
Okay.
But that's
It's
one of the
different.
places that we've had
Yeah.
meetings, and it's the same thing. It's the metal chairs. It's great.
Yeah.
So anyways, so Schultz sent a memo to his successor, Jim Donald, and said, it's quoted, "Make the changes necessary to evoke the heritage, the tradition, and the passion that we all have for the true Starbucks experience."
And that's it. It's an experience, because you can get a good cup of coffee for $1 at McDonald's. Starbucks is not going to beat that. But they offer something. I will never go hang out at McDonald's, but I'll get a cup of coffee from them.
Yeah, but Starbucks doesn't even offer that anymore, so
No.
they're not even competing.
No.
You know,
I mean, and I'll happily pay my, you know, it's $6.58 for, you know, my. Yes, I know.
he might have a problem.
Yeah, just a little bit. But I'll happily go pay it if I could just like sit and hang out. But you know, like you said, it's just really noisy, and I'm sure that's partially on purpose, because it's not so noisy
get
that
people
just going in and whatnot's so bad. But you know, recently I just got tired of sitting in the office working, and so there's a Starbucks like around the corner from our office, and so I just walked down there to work a few times, and it's a little noisy, but you know, they've got at least a nice place where I can go sit down and work. And what I noticed is they have more business of people who have ordered on their mobile phone and go in and pick up and walk out than people that actually come into the store. The majority of at least at this one location, I can't speak for the franchise, just this one location by our office, more customers come in for their cup of coffee than anywhere else. Now, I will say that the staff there is really nice and friendly, and there are regular people that come in every day, get the exact same drink, the exact same time. They know them all by name. They have a little chit chat and leave. And so I guess that's a good experience, but that's not the experience that they were set
and
up
that's
on.
okay for those people that don't have time, that don't want to come and sit. But for the people that need the third space,
Yeah.
because I need a third space,
Yep.
and I don't even drink coffee.
Yeah.
Like, I have plenty of comfortable places to sit at my house.
Yeah.
But sometimes I want to change the
Just wanna
scenery
get out.
to go
Yeah.
read. And I don't want to have to listen to metal chairs scraping on the floor.
Yeah. Or the loud, obnoxious hippie music.
Yeah.
And I don't mind hippie music, but I don't want it loud.
I don't even notice it's hippie. It's just loud. So
If you like loud, obnoxious hippie music, I'm sorry.
So after sending the memo, I guess Jim Donald didn't do it because Schultz returned to take over. He replaced Donald with a new leader trying to get Starbucks back to their why. The problem was, as I mentioned earlier, Schultz was the physical embodiment of the why.
Right.
As long as he was there,
Yep.
all the employees still believed in it, and that was fine. And so Simon Sinek talks about these CEOs that we've mentioned, and he talked about in businesses, none of them are God's gift to business. They are just the physical embodiment of their why. Their business as they started is their what to their why.
Yep.
And so if they don't do a good job of communicating that to everyone,
Yep.
especially their successor, then it dies when they leave.
Yeah, and it doesn't
And they
take
have to come
long
back.
to change.
What was it, like Steve Jobs had to come back?
Even Bill Gates.
Bill Gates had to come back. So
Now, he
he's
didn't
talked
come
about
back as CEO, but he got involved.
So they've talked about several people that had to come back and work again and come back and work again. And it talks about, Simon Sinek talked about, this is why we call them the successors.
Yeah.
Like, they are supposed to, you know, keep
Maintain
it going
that success.
and improve it for the next generation.
But that focusing on the short-term dollar is just, it's so tempting and so appealing.
It is.
A dollar
but it's
today
just
is better than a
so-
dollar tomorrow.
You know, I think back to like the Walmart episode we did with Sam Walton. What was it? $44 million he grew his business to, or billion? I can't remember.
44 billion, yeah.
And like, at what point is it not just enough?
I don't know.
And
I don't think...
I can't imagine trying to manage that kind of a company.
No, and even as we grow, I mean, I'm not saying there's a point where I would say, oh, we're so big, let's not go after any more business. But, like, I desperately want to be able to do good for others. And like I say, this business is the means to do it. Our why is saving folks time and energy for what matters most. Now, how do I do that? Well, that's what the various services we offer and the different ways we do it than other folks. But even then, if we had 1,000 employees, I wouldn't want that to ever change. And then for
Right.
each of those employees, I want to make sure that we're able to provide meaningful work that allows them to save time and energy for whatever matters most in their life. No one should be missing their kid's baseball game because they're stuck at the office.
Right.
Sorry, little tangent.
And you know, I think I've said it before on here, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it again. We strongly believe in what we do, and that it provides a great efficiency for people.
Yep.
And you know, Kyle is real great about saying, you know, I don't think we can help you.
Yeah.
Or, you know, this is what you're really going to have to do, and I know it costs a lot, but you're not going to make it unless you do it.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate that honesty. You know, we had our car in the shop recently.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, they told us it was going to cost this much. And then we went to pick it up and they said, hey, it wasn't actually what we thought it was this. And that's $500 less.
And I was just dumbfounded.
Because of all things, a mechanic can easily.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Especially after they had already told us that's what it was going to cost.
And we'd
they
already
had
agreed to
no
pay
reason,
it.
you know.
Yeah.
And so, of course, we thanked him. And he said, you know, that's what we're in the business of doing. And, you know, it was just being on. Anyways.
And it's
I
not
think
even just
we're
being
off topic.
honest. No, I don't even think it's off topic. Like, it's honest to what your mission is. And that's what this whole book is about. Why do you do it? You have to be honest to what that goal is.
Yeah.
You know, something I talk about with our oldest son a little bit, you know, like they always talk about, you know, a sin, right? So a sin is something you did wrong. But if you look at what the word actually means, the original like Hebrew text of what that means, it simply means to miss your target. So a sin is missing your target. So if you've got the wrong target, then you're definitely doing bad.
Yeah.
So it's all the same.
Well, and I think they talk about that a little bit in the 7 Habits that I mentioned last time we were going to read. So to go back to our business, in an effort to do right by people, we just recently redeveloped our consulting packages.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing about Kyle. He's always like, how can I make this work for all size businesses?
Yep.
How can I help people? So he just developed different levels of quality assurance plans.
So we've got like 3 different tiers on it. I mean, I'm not just trying to promote business here, but it's an example of you have to be able to not just adapt and change. That's so cliche. But you have to find ways to truly serve people. We're working with people. I don't care if it's $1 trillion industry, $1 trillion business, or $1 million business that I'm talking to. People run it. You have to help people. And so, you know, that's what we're trying to do here is get it set up so that it supports our vision of saving folks time and energy for what matters most. And just because this is the best example I can think of, because it's what we do, is if what matters most to you is advancing your career, great, that's what matters most to you. Let me make some time available in your day so that you can go do that next big thing. You can tackle that next big project and you can keep climbing that ladder. As Dave Ramsey says, just make sure your ladder is against the right building. Yeah. Otherwise, when you get to the top, you'll be disappointed. Or, you know, maybe it was like me. Like, I got tired of missing my kids' baseball games. That was the line for me. And so that's what we want to do. But if you don't know what that why is, and you don't have to be the CEO of the company for the why to matter. Every individual person has something that they're going after.
Oh, yeah.
And they need to align their life with that target.
I think that's important to note because we haven't really talked about that. We've been talking about the why as CEOs. and everybody has a why.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to think about what is your why.
Yeah.
Why, you know, and not just necessarily why are you at this job or why, like, what is your why in life?
Yeah. What is it you really care about? I mean, what is it? And everyone is different. I'm not going to say what it should or shouldn't be, but dadgum, you got to know it, and you got to have a target, and then you got to hit the target.
And I would say, if you're having problems nailing that down, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People
It will
talks
help you.
about that. Because, you know, when we first start talking about why, I think, well, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a Christian, and he talks about all those different roles that you
Right.
play. Digressing. So, to get back to this one.
You should sit in the office with us someday.
No, don't. I barely can do it. So, to get back to somebody's outside the glass again, I get so distracted. Again, we're recording at the Cannon, which is a very nice
Very
facility.
nice.
It's
Love
an
it.
office share, and so it's got these glass walls around us, but some of them are frosted, but you can
Yeah.
still see people like
And
just
they're like peeking. It's just weird.
standing there.
Okay.
So earlier we did an episode on Southwest Airlines. In
Oh, yeah,
reference
yeah,
to start
yeah.
with why I think it was episode 16, and I think
Something
it's
like
one
that.
that you're going to put in
Yep.
with these. And again, Simon Sinek talks about Southwest Airlines because several minutes ago, before we got a little off topic, I talked about these guys are not God's gift to
Right.
CEO. They just are the physical embodiment. So you've got to be really good at expressing your why and talking about it and you
So that
know,
continues past you.
infusing it
Mhm.
and hiring the right person, like we talked about before. Christina Harbridge, the
Mhm.
Bridgeport Financial, she had to
Mhm.
hire the right people to send those
Yeah.
thank you cards. So Herb Kelleher, who I believe is the one that started Southwest Airlines, was looking for a successor, and he was going to interview somebody named Howard Putnam. Putnam goes in the
That's
interview.
a fun name.
He noticed that Kelleher had kicked off his shoes.
Uh-huh.
Kelleher is the current CEO.
Right.
And Putnam is the person being interviewed. He sees he's kicked off his shoes and that Kelleher had holes in his socks. He's
Love
the
it.
CEO of Southwest Airlines. And Putnam thought, this is the job for me. Because he was sitting there with holes in his socks
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, I'm an everyman too.
Yep.
But Kelleher had to figure out that Putnam was the right man for the job. So Simon Sinek talks about he got a chance to meet up with Putnam because he did get the job.
Mhm.
And during their meeting, which I'm sure was hours long, Simon said, well, why don't we go get a cup of coffee from Starbucks? And Putnam replied, and this is quoted, I'm not going to Starbucks. I'm not paying $5 for a cup of coffee. And what the heck is a Frappuccino anyway? So they went on to Dunkin' Donuts, the everyman coffee
Right.
shop.
That's
so,
funny.
you know, Putnam embodied what Southwest Airlines is about. It's an airline for the everyman. You don't
Yeah.
need fancy frills and whatever. You just need to get from A to B.
Yep.
It's an everyman airline, and so they needed an everyman CEO with holes in his socks. Do you have holes in your socks today, Kyle?
I do actually.
Oh, I don't.
I do.
I made sure because I'm wearing my boots, and if I have holes in my socks with my boots, it really hurts my feet. So,
You know, this may be not the quite podcast material, but like recently I've been rereading 1st and 2nd Samuel, and I was just very confused because 2 different priests, their sons turned out just absolutely terrible and horrible, and his sons were the ones that were supposed to succeed him. And I remember thinking, like, you'd think they'd do a better job with their kids so that their kids would be able to succeed them. But I mean, that's no different than what we're seeing here. These are the same stories, whether you believe scripture or not. These are the same stories repeated thousands of years apart. Is it is so hard to get the literal next generation or figurative in the CEO to get that next generation on board the same way you were. And it's something that lots of folks have apparently had problems with for a
but
long
I think
time.
that's a good comparison. You know, you as a parent are raising your children the way you believe you want them to live in the world.
Yeah.
And so you have to not only be the physical embodiment, but find a way to infuse that into your children
Yeah.
so that they live that life.
And it's tough, but these skills are the same, whether it's work, home, church, doesn't matter. It's all the same skills. People are
Yeah.
people. You deal and live with people.
So perhaps I should have done the 7 habits first, and then we're going to start with why. But I am excited about reading the 7 Habits. It took me a long time to start with why, but in January I found this reading app that a lot of my friends were reading. You could set a goal, and reading is something that I used to do a lot and really loved. And then we had 1 kid, and then we had 2, and then we had 3, and we have a business, and I really got away from it.
Wait, so what you're telling me is you set a goal for yourself, a target.
I set a target.
Now, if it's a good target, you're gonna
I'm actually
sacrifice
ahead.
to succeed it.
So I was able to finish the Start With Why, and I'm ahead of my goal on the app. And so, this was the 7 Habits was the next one on my list, and I'm reading it. It's pretty meaty. It's a little difficult to get through.
It's a very different book than Start With Why.
But I'm almost halfway through with it. So we might start a mini series, take a break till I finish reading it and go back to it.
But it's all good.
But I hope you guys are enjoying this.
Absolutely.
I feel like it really matters to your quality.
It
your
does.
Quality of life and your quality of business.
It does. Again, as the QMS boot camp we talked about before, over half the material we cover is about this type of stuff. Is you have to work with people. It does not matter how technical or good of a plan you have is, if you can't get someone else to believe it.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks for listening. All right, there's all my notes. Done
In today's global economy, quality matters. Benjamin Franklin once quipped, "The bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten." Quality Matters is here to talk about all things quality. So whether you're looking to improve your business, getting ready for an audit, or dealing with failed inspections, tune in, check us out, then get back to doing work that matters.